bad as shit. Man, you saw the, but share that stuff. I'm sorry. But y'all saw the thumbnail. Man, you can't even get a job at Taco Bell right now. I tried to tell everybody a couple weeks ago on a live I did, and didn't nobody tune in, and didn't nobody like it. And if it ain't about destruction or some Jake Paul or some shit like that, they don't pay no attention till it's too late. Look at the thumbnail. You can't even get a job at Taco Bell. You go to Taco Bell, they got a machine talking to you. Not this Taco Bell, but it's a Taco Bell that I went to. Okay? AI took the order. Took the order. I'm like, oh, they already get started. If it ain't bad enough out here, man, like, you go in, grown folk. I mean, we talking about grown folk working in Taco Bell. I remember when Taco Bell or McDonald's, any fast food was like, oh my God, you work at Taco Bell, you can't even get a girlfriend. You can't even get a bar. I mean, they was looking down on you back in the day. Now, people know, if you're around my age, you know, back in Calvin and all that, worked at McDonald's, fast food was cool. It's a cool little job for a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid trying to make some money. That stuff used to boom. For some reason, that ain't booming no more. When I was 16, I worked 2 jobs. I worked at Taco Bell and Wendy's. I had my pick of the litter. You could walk out of one job, walk into another. Not no more. Now you go in there, you go in one of these restaurants, fast food, ain't nothing but a bunch of Mexicans or people that don't even speak English up in there. I take back the little Mexican, but that's who's in there. That's what I see. When I go in there, the ones I'm at, where I'm at, I go in there, the Mexican dude, they all speaking, but it's all English food on the board, all McDonald's in there, they're speaking English. They're speaking Spanish. They speak English to you and speak Spanish to everybody else. I'm like, what the fuck? This is crazy. It's like we all don't, let this shit get out of hand and not got right and not got prepared when we had the advantage. Not the advantage, but when you had your chance. We had dope and drugs and, when niggas was selling crack in the hood, man, we buying them rims and shit. Man, we should have been starting businesses. Now AI, now they we don't need none of you motherfuckers. They don't got it to where they don't need none of you motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Because now, even no kid, these kids can't get jobs, man. It's like it's too many kids and not enough jobs. Not enough jobs, ain't nothing for them kids. If you go out there, man, I know a couple kids that been trying to get hired. Nothing, especially if you go to a place where, where Mexican that ain't finna hire you. You go to an Arab, they ain't finna hire you at the liquor store. You go to an African store, they not gonna hire you unless you're African. And it's like, and then you go out in the white neighborhood and it might be the same thing. They ain't gonna hire you. It's like, we gotta take care of our people. And the blacks the only people that's so inviting, like everybody come get a job, but now gonna kind of be on the outside looking in, you know what I mean? Because of this fuck shit going on, you know what I mean? With this AI gonna take all that shit out because nigga, customer service, when you call the bank, you know what I mean? When you go to place your order, do they really need a motherfucker standing there at the drive-thru? Right? They can take your order right there, so you saying to the machine, they can roll up, have a plate. They already tried it out with COVID when they had you sliding through shit the door and you couldn't touch nobody. That to me they was attempting to see how it worked. Touchless communication. Where we ain't touching each other. Where we ain't, you know what I mean? Where we ain't touching each other. You know what I mean? So it's here, AI, man. It's here. They get on TV and I see them on the little commercials where the little shows and the guys who already know about AI, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's going to help you do this easier. You're going to be able to do that easier. It's going to help you get a business plan. Well, who the business plan? If nobody's making money, it don't matter how fast the plan going. Right? If you don't got customers, unless they already got this customer base, and you other motherfuckers need to get the fuck on. That's how I'm looking at it, because AI really can do everything, man. It can type your paperwork. Like, you don't even really got to use your brain no more. I remember you used to have to write a term paper, and you had to read this book, read that book. Now you don't have to. You can just say, who was To Kill a Mockingbird? What's the summary of that? What's the moral of that? Who the characters in that? And that shit'll pop up. You don't gotta read and exercise your brain and figure it out. You don't gotta I know motherfuckers can't even count in their head. Like, we was counting some numbers, like simple shit, like, man, what was 13 times 5? And this motherfucker had to write it down. And you know what I mean? I was like, nigga, you can't count that in your head. You can't go 13 times 5, 45, nigga, 5 carry to 1. Wow. What did I say 13 times? No. What was the number? It was 13. Not 13 times 5 is going to give you 65, nigga. So I can count, motherfucker, in my head. I don't need a calculator. I don't need to ask Google. I don't need Siri, what's, and that's where they got the information at, because motherfuckers stopped thinking. They stopped researching. They stopped looking up information. They stopped valuing information. They stopped wanting to know themselves. They stopped it. Now, because they start relying on Google. We start relying on Siri. We start relying on all this other shit for information, not the library. We don't read no more. We don't read books. All we do is listen to these motherfuckers talk about nonsense. And they don't understand if the money's not circulating, if motherfuckers ain't building businesses and finding other ways to make money, then motherfuckers gonna be fucked, because that AI shit, if I was a business owner, think about it. If you a business owner and you can save $10,000, $15,000 and you ain't gotta pay a motherfucker ain't gotta, not gonna call in, not gonna call in sick, you ain't gotta pay him overtime, you ain't gotta pay him sick pay, you ain't gotta do none of that shit. You don't think you're gonna do it as a business owner? That's who rule this motherfucker. Business owners, entrepreneurs, not regular motherfuckers. Entrepreneurs, you got business owners, families. So like I was listening about, they was talking about the NFL. The NFL is a family. These are all, when you go to the NFL, you don't go get a job. You go to the family. And they don't give a fuck. They gonna go on with or without you in there, because they're a family. And they're gonna do what's best for the family. And if AI is the best thing for them, they're gonna do it. Because you can't get none of these jobs right here. Look at it. All these jobs. See them motherfuckers? Drive through that empty. You know what I mean? Empty. Car wash, automatic, everything empty. You gonna pay these motherfuckers? How they gonna pay these people? You know what I mean? If no customers are not buying food, and then if you got no, you know what I mean? If the customer ain't out, how you gonna make money? You need people to spend money. And if they doing all this AI shit, to cut back here, cut back there, not have to pay a motherfucker. So if they're not paying somebody, that means somebody not making money. That means motherfuckers can't go spend money. So the only people who can spend money is rich motherfuckers that's got look at the barbershop. Look, he's sitting in there. No business. How keep that shit going? If he ain't got no money, nobody's got money to get no haircut. Nobody's got money to do shit. Look at the grocery store. Empty than a motherfucker. This shit almost looks like COVID. How it looked in COVID. How empty it was. How, shit just was not circulating. I mean, everything's high. Inflation. Everything, bro. Everything. And it's like, how the motherfuckers gonna make money? How motherfuckers gonna live? Then you want to bring some AI bullshit in here that's gonna come in and take the jobs, take the opportunity. You know what I mean? Because if motherfuckers, if this computer can do, I'll use AI. AI is pretty cool, in business. But when it comes to everybody's doing it, that's when it becomes a problem. Like when just one or two motherfuckers, it's almost like the NBA, right? When you got 1 or 2, 3 motherfuckers that shoot the jumper, shoot the three, it's cool. But when every motherfucking body out there shooting it, you know what I mean? It's like, it kills it. Kills the game. You know what I mean? Like the NFL, everybody throw the football. Look, Joe Budden right there. What the fuck going on?